Discover Euston. Yes. Well, just picking up on that last bit of video there, which I lost because I had a phone call and I ended up losing everything. So just picking up again on Hampstead Road on this lovely sunny Friday lunchtime. And so look at these lovely graphics boards that HS2 have put up. So it's all going on, as you can see. I hope that means that they're not going to pull down that block. But everything, all these big trucks, if they've got a little blue thing in the window that says HS2, you can be fairly sure that is to do with HS2. Surprise, surprise. So it's a hive of activity again now that clearance has gone ahead. I don't really think myself that anything actually stopped. Everything was just on a sort of, I think they were just treading water waiting, because obviously all this work had already started some time ago. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why is he doing this? Well, it was just an opportunity really to do a bit of an abstract one really. See the iconic telecom tower, formerly known as the Post Office Tower, and the Euston Tower. And a lot of the skyline has been cleared because of HS2. Here's a bit of history for you. Cumberland Market, just a stone's throw from where you are now, built in the early 1800s as London's hay and straw market. Blah 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 blah. Obviously long since gone. They do like to do this. It's all this other sort of cutesy stuff. Look at it, lovely. It's just a gentleman out there with a moustache going for a walk with his dog. It's all happening. The fact is, they don't show you all these trucks in these graphics. There's HS2, la 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 la, some cranes, and then that big Camden Estate, which I'm going to come to shortly. Camden Town, indeed. We're on our way to Camden Town. I'm not doing a video about Camden Town though, because I don't have enough room on my phone for that. And I haven't really set out what I'm doing, but it's an opportunity to go and have a look rather excitingly over the railway bridge. So you can see back into Euston. The train going through. This rather exciting bridge. This is very much of its time period. I would imagine this was actually done in the mid to late 60s, well mid 60s probably, when Euston was regenerated. See, you look over there, you can see the distance, it says Red Star. I don't know whether you can see that. Let's see if I can just zoom in on that. Red Star, which of course was parcel service that was done by British Rail and the Post Office for rapid next day stuff. I don't think Red Star exists anymore, but that sign still does as a little reminder. And I guess that'll be taken down when it all gets redone. You see, it's a big, to say it's a big project is putting it mildly really. But yeah, as I said, whether or not you could say this is North West London Time Machine, I don't know, because I'm not doing much old stuff here, am I? Although it's all old in a way. It's just different types of old. Right, hold on. Back again. It's the Ampthill Estate. And I can imagine that it didn't look like that when it was first built. With each block colour coded, and this rather odd sort of cladding, which is, I'd imagine, from the 90s. So there's one that we've seen before. If you looked at my videos, I did one about that building you can see, which was the Arcadia Works, originally the factory for Carreras, who made cigarettes. The black cats on the side of the building, and we can actually see that. There you go, up on there, in those squares. But like I said, I've done a video on that. So yes, do we say this is history? Well, I mean, the point being is that all of this will become history, and at some point people will go looking for bits of video from this time. Whether or not mine actually gets selected, it's a different matter. I don't know. Another opportunity to have a look at this building. I don't know whether you like decorative stuff, but you can see all that tiling there clearly from the late 60s, and it survives despite all the horrible cladding from the 90s. Right, so just crossed over the busy Hampstead Road. I'm now on Mornington Crescent, so I'm just coming around the other way from when I did the video before, so that you get to see the back of the old Carreras Factory and this wonderfully elegant 1800s Crescent, because that would have been gardens for these rather nice houses. If you look up here, you get to see Walter Sickert, painter and etcher, lived and worked here between those dates. So there's a bit of history for you. Now there's another thing I just spotted. I just walked past it. Look at that. Now that's a bit of history. C registration, so that I think is about 1986. Renault 4 GTL. Look at that. And interestingly enough, Renault have just done a revised retro version in electric of the Renault 4 that isn't as basic as that. But you didn't think you were going to get that in the video. So just a little more shot of this. Nice day for it. I wish I'd actually done the video when I had such nice bright weather and it wasn't quite so hot. So at the back of the factory, as it was built in the early 1920s. Just tripped over a bit of rubbish there. Right, so back again. Sorry, I had a little break as I went up a side road which I thought about filming. It was called Clarkson Row, nothing to do with Jeremy. I thought it might have been interesting, but wasn't worthy. So like I said, you would have seen this before in a previous exciting video, but it is lovely in its own way. Even that chimney has a nice appeal to it, doesn't it? It's funny, isn't it, that when this was put up, it must have been such a shock really for anybody who'd lived in this area for a long time. Suddenly this great monster of a building arriving, but now 100 years later it's an accepted part of the built environment, as they call it. So why not just walk up here a little bit before I wrap this one up. Didn't really mean it to be as long as it is. Let's have a look at these really nice old houses here, which I assume are Georgian or early Victorian. It's all part of Camden. Has some really interesting architecture, lots of different ages. It's an interesting borough that is always worth having a walk around, which I'm sure if my wife could hear me say that, she would laugh, because she does far more walking than I ever will. Have a look at that door. Isn't that good? Number one. And then just have a little look pokey around here. Yeah, it's just more of the same, isn't it, really? Albert Street. And look at that. Fantastic piece of what I would say is mid-60s architecture. Suddenly from nowhere, next to that other building there. There we go. Right. So on one of these streets, I think that the great broadcaster Robert Elms lived on. until he moved elsewhere. Shall we have a look at this history plaque and see what it says? And then we can be satisfied to finish off the video. Oh, it's not one I've heard of, but it's someone called George MacDonald, who was a storyteller who lived in that house. Just to get a close up of that. There you go. Sorry about all the zooming around. What a great piece of architecture. It's obviously just flats. Wonderful. Right, well, thank you for watching. Don't quite know what the purpose of this video was, other than that it was an opportunity whilst the sun was shining in the middle of October to shoot a bit of video, and hopefully next time I'll do something more cohesive. Thanks for watching.